so well.
I guess all right. So I'm biased going into it. I had fun with it because just seeing everyone again, and
I didn't.
it was fun for
I
me.
did not have
No,
fun at all. No,
so
I did not enjoy. I gave it a 5.5 too. Like,
damn.
just hi guys, Pop Films here, Everett.
Christian.
To start the first podcast, I will say for the record, Christian's asked me for about 2 years to do a podcast, and I've always kind of passed it off. I've never been a big podcast watcher, and he's asked me, and something I think Mars was in retrograde, and I was like, let's do a podcast. And Christian literally built this set, so we're gonna kind of freestyle the first one and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I know you wanted to talk about remakes, right?
Oh yes, that's. I think that's the
It's a
topic of today's
planned
episode.
freestyle.
Before we start the episode, though, this episode is sponsored by Pop Films. So, if you can, the links down below. Here's our new movie. That's the poster right there, Dead County. It is out on Tubi TV, so you can watch it for free. And if you feel like helping us out and spending a little money, you could buy the Blu-ray as well. All the links will be down below.
With the slipcover. And I want to
Nope.
say this is
the
our...
slipcover is actually sold out.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
no
can't
more
believe we
slipcover.
sold all those. They sold all those?
Yeah, it was a limited edition with the slipcover, but
Cool.
the regular Blu-ray
Interesting.
is for sale.
Okay, so you get it like this. And I want to
Yes.
say this is our feature film.
Mhm.
90 minutes.
First one.
Everything that you'd see on our YouTube is going to be a short film, roughly 20 minutes
Yes.
or less for now, but feature
So,
length.
should we explain like what we're doing and like everything?
Yeah, go on,
Yeah,
bro.
why not?
Go on.
Okay, so Dead County was our first film. We shot it in 2019. It was our first feature, and we bit a little bit more than we could chew with it in terms of the amount of cast and trying to do a zombie movie with the budget we had. We shot it for under 15,000, I think, around like 15,
Yeah.
between 15 and 20,000. And we got a distribution deal for our first feature film, which is it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
So right now we are working on how many, like 4 or 5 feature length projects.
I would say, and if anyone that's a writer that knows it probably feel my pain. I have about 4 different feature-length scripts, all 30 pages written into it. Like we're on starting act 2 of like 3 different scripts where
Yeah.
it's like I just typed up 30 or so and was like, well, we could do this with the sci-fi, with the drama, kind of a horror black comedy type
Mhm.
thing, and they all range in budget because I mean,
Yeah.
like obviously. God, what we could do, we're sometimes filming on weekends for like a consecutive 5 months. And if we could just ever film for like a month or 2 straight with a budget, I mean, obviously you'd love to work on, like $1 million budget. Who
Not
wouldn't?
even.
But
I mean,
even the
say
micro
who wouldn't?
budgets, because
Yeah.
like our budgets, like the 15 grand or so,
It's a
is
no budget.
considered basically like, I think people with guitar boxes like playing in Manhattan make more money sometimes. Like
Probably on a good day.
Yeah.
The naked cowboy guy.
Yeah.
He's probably making that. I don't know if he takes donations. Maybe he's just a happy naked man playing guitar.
Naked cowboy man. Never heard of that. But anyways.
But yeah, but the things we're shooting for YouTube are basically actually no budget. I think the last one, Sucker, we spent maybe $25 on total. The fangs were like $13.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I mean like goes to show just find locations that you have and write for them, like because we have the beer barn that we shot at, like that's
the best way for us to approach a project is to know, because film sometimes it could be full of surprises, like, oh well, we can't get this actor, oh we can't get this, so it's always like, well, what set can we get, what can we lock down and guarantee, because even when we're like, oh, it's going to be quick. It's going to be a quick shoot. We've been doing this for 3 years. I know a quick shoot's 4 hours at least. Like there are no quick.
The
you know how you see a football game and it's like, oh, there's 2 minutes left on the clock. It's probably 2. No, like even 2 minutes
We're
is
going
like
in overtime.
2 hours. Yeah.
But with that said, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, we'll link a playlist up in the corner over here or over there. I'm not quite sure which side we're on. To our playlist of all of our short films that we have on YouTube, and if that's something that you're into, help us out. Subscribe, comment on some of the videos. we're trying to do this. Please, we're begging you.
Okay, I'm gonna crack a beer. I brought a couple beers. I'm not drinking crafty right now. I'm drinking Busch Light.
Busch Light.
It's inflation season.
Wait.
Ooh.
Cheers, sir.
Prost to the first podcast.
Oh, they go down so easy, but they're terrible.
Yeah, they're terribly fun.
Yes.
terribly fun to drink. So as I kind of like started to prelude into is we wanted to talk about remakes and stuff a little bit.
Yes,
I know
specifically horror, because there's
we
been a lot
we don't
lately.
have to put a cap on the remake
Okay.
thing, but I know that for time's sake where we are right now, February 2022, Netflix just released a Leatherface, or I should say, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a reboot
Mm.
remake, right? Because this well no,
No, it's a sequel.
I'm trying to think of what did
It's
they
a
say in
sequel.
Scream 5 with that, where it's like
All right,
they
so this is what we have to talk about. So lately, and Scream 5 literally explained this to a T.
mm,
But lately, it hasn't been the remakes, it's been the reboots where
requels. I'm sorry, they called them.
requels, yes, requels where they pretty much kill part of the storyline of
Mm-hmm.
the original series.
Yeah,
So the new
no
Texas
spoilers.
Chainsaw Massacre is a sequel to the original. However, what's the word for it? It
I basically say they're taking a very thin thread from something 40, 50 years ago and finding a way to pull it into a new character with the same thing. It's kind of like almost like you can't teach an old dog new
right.
tricks like they're trying to. Like the film's,
Uh-oh. Keep going.
1974, I think, is the original
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So then all the following sequels that came after that, prior to this new one, are now
mm,
gone. They don't exist. Basically, what Halloween did with the newer Halloweens,
the
where
2018, yeah.
from Halloween 2 on are just squashed. But so forewarning, if you haven't seen any of these movies yet, spoiler alert ahead. Spoils ahead. Spoiler alert right now. My God, was this movie fucking horrible.
You're talking about Texas
Oh
Chainsaw,
my
right?
God, yes.
Well,
Texas, go for it.
I want to just say right away, for horror fans, the kills
Yes.
were well
We'll
done.
get into
I
that.
think
Yeah.
that's why I give it 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because there was some little gems
What was your
sprinkled in
favorite kill?
the first kill.
The first kill?
Because I think the first kill in a horror movie really sets the tone for what the rest of it is willing to become. If you start very extreme, even though it's like, damn, was that the peak? But sometimes they go more extreme and
But see, the problem with that, the first kill was fucking dope. If you haven't seen it yet, he breaks the guy's arm, and then with his, what is this? I broke this bone. I should know it.
fibula. Tibula.
Tibula's the foot. Fibula's, those are fingers, aren't they? Anyway,
Hold on.
this bone right here in the wrist breaks out. It's a compound fracture, and then he stabs him in the neck with his own bone. It's fucking dope. But leading up to that, all right, we see Leatherface. Everyone's cool with him because he's not a serial killer yet. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just his son. And then all of a sudden, he just turns into this fucking crazy monster.
But it is technically a
And he doesn't have the mask on. We see his face.
So I think
True.
the woman,
True.
the mother, was trying to say, "Oh, that's just my boy," and
But that's another thing.
the audience knew where it was kind of like, "Oh, but he's not just the boy,"
Right.
and
Right.
which is fine. But I think conceptually, like they didn't flesh out what this was, because if it is a 40-year-old sequel, Leatherface
Right.
had to be
He had to be in his 80s.
at least 20 years old in the original.
Because
from the 70s.
what's her name? The original girl that got away is in it, and she's like what, in her 60s, 70s?
Correct.
And she, even if he was the same age, you see Leatherface, his face, his actual face. It's a younger dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that old, so it doesn't make sense that he's the original killer. I don't think he is, and maybe that's why he doesn't remember the girl at the end.
Okay.
Maybe.
Leatherface had Alzheimer's.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but no, because it couldn't have been him. He was too young to be the guy.
I think that
Which
was the
they never talked about though. They never brought it up. There was no backstory with anything. There was no connection except for the main chick from the first one.
I think
forget her name.
that blame goes to the writer,
Yeah. Huh?
because that's.
But you never.
that's
Have
what
you read the
get.
script?
No, well,
It
you
could
know
have been
what?
a
Okay, so
budgetary thing.
I know that there was another director that was on board, and they, well, for whatever reason, this is the second Texas Chainsaw that was shot in, I think, Romania, and they faked
Texas.
Yeah, they faked it for Texas.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, I want to say Bulgaria, Romania. Either way,
Okay.
over there, and they faked it for Texas. There was like another remake that was recently done with, I think, like Steven Dorff. That was a prequel to the '74 film. Do you know the lineage of these Leatherfaces? Because there was like a 2013.
There's one with Jessica Biel.
That's the 03.
Okay.
Then there's the sequel in
2013
06.
was with what's her name? I can't.
I don't know.
Daddario.
It was also
Daddario.
it was also 3D. That one was
Oh
cool.
yeah, 3D.
Leatherface
Daddario
3D.
was in that.
And it started with like a Devil's Rejects type of thing where the house was getting sieged.
Right.
And somebody like ran out of there. And
they,
then it cut to present day, and there was basically like some random character. I don't want to spoil this film too much, but those two things are its own separate identity. And then this movie, so they had another director. He shot, I think, like 10 minutes worth of footage, and they were like, this isn't going to work out. So the new guy, whoever is the director for this current film we're talking about, he scrapped that and reshot it.
Okay.
So we don't. I don't want to blame the writer or anybody.
It could be a budgetary thing.
But some of these movies you see where it's like, my God, does anyone have a pulse on set?
Yeah.
Because someone must be aware, like they're spending millions of dollars, and it's like this is dog shit.
That's another thing. It's Netflix though. Netflix is throwing out billions and billions of dollars for original content. So it could have just been Netflix Studio being like, "Hey, we need this at this date. We don't care what the fuck it is."
I think it's
because
cool
we know people are going to look at it.
I think it's cool that they're doing it.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
That
they're spending a lot of money this year. I think they have like 150 new shows and movies, like original content, which is cool.
Pray I don't go blind this year. Though.
Where were we though? All right, so
I like the deaths.
The final death. The final death.
Oh,
just the VFX in it and like how they pulled it off and made it look so realistic. Again, spoiler. I mean, we've already spoiled it, but the ending, the two sisters get away, and then the one gets pulled out, and he fucking saws her head off, and the body just falls, and he's holding the head. Film Riot. I'll try to link it up right here. They've done that effect, but it was a lockdown shot. It wasn't how they did it with this. Like obviously more money involved.
I'd have to watch it again because it happened, and then the movie ended, and like. I liked it, but I just spent an hour and a half with the movie, so I was like, I gotta go do something else. So it like ended on like a high note, and I was like, oh, but of course, like Leatherface was through some shit here, and it's also I will say this: the ending of this movie was better than Halloween Kills.
Absolutely.
You and I saw Halloween Kills in theaters, and I was sitting there for like 40 minutes, like Ren from Ren and Stimpy, just like, what is happening? I was like, this is terrible, and I knew it too because. As far as sequels are concerned, I cannot stand when they greenlight two sequels at the same time.
I know, because then you know. I mean,
it's Michael Myers. I know. Of course he's gonna but it's like you kill all tension and suspense in the sense that not so much with Michael Myers.
Sorry.
I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis. If she's billed on for the third one, Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
We know no matter what happens, this woman can be dangling over a water filled with piranha, and she's gonna be in the next one. And it's just like they call it a Deus Ex Machina in film, where it's like all of a sudden, if you were falling off a cliff, it's just like, oh well, this hot air balloon was floating by, and they're saved, and it's just like plot armor. Yes, my favorite thing. Yeah. Brad Pitt survived every movie through plot armor. Troy.
I do agree. The ending was better than Halloween Kills. We'll get into Halloween Kills. The whole new Halloween franchise, because it's just kind of... Honestly, I think Jamie Lee Curtis should have died off in the first one. It would have been better. I fucking hated her in Halloween Kills. Oh, she's so bad.
Evil dies tonight.
Oh, God.
It was bad.
That's the whole movie. That's all you need to know if you haven't seen it. Evil dies tonight. They say it like 15 fucking times.
There were so many things wrong. The acting was cringe. Yeah. Like in the beginning, some of the scenes in the bar, I think is it Anthony Michael Hall that's in it? And he goes on like a monologue of the boogeyman. And it's just crazy how many people from 50 years ago or 40 years ago are like, oh, well, this one night. And mind you, he only killed one person. And it affected everyone so deeply. It was just like, I get it, and I think it was the Halloween thing was trying to go with the vibe of, like, the town. Like a Stephen King type thing where it's like, there's evil in the town. How Derry, Maine is kind of like, this town's fucked up, period. Right. And I get it, Halloween was trying to flesh that out, in a sense, because the whole town was in a frenzy at the end. In the hospital scene, they were chasing, like, some...
It turned into a completely different movie. It almost looked like a zombie apocalypse type of movie because everybody was freaking out over one guy. If all of them just jumped
zombie
on...
Zombie apocalypse, you say?
I was gonna say if all of them jumped on him, it would have been the end of it, but that did happen, and it wasn't the end of it.
That was a crazy death scene too.
Yeah.
When the old boy fell out the
Yeah,
window.
yeah, yeah,
His brain
yeah. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
It just,
And
I honestly, dude, I don't know if we want to go there with this podcast, but it was almost anti woke. At the same time, having one of the most woke actors in the movie, but it was because it was just showing mob mentality and how bad it is. Because this poor guy wasn't involved in this, but everybody banded together, said he did it, and then he was killed. It's kind of what's going on in the world right now. I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree. Some of it felt for. I could not stand the "evil dies tonight" line repeated. God. Like it
once was enough. Once was bad enough, and then they literally chanted it.
There was a lot of things I didn't like. Bad. I don't even. There's no blame. Like I like Danny McBride.
I love
like
Danny
all the
McBride.
People that were behind it.
When I heard that Danny McBride was writing the script, I was actually pumped because it's like, all right, cool. This dude's branching out of his comedy, and I'm sure they're going to bring a lot of comedy into it because of him, and it's going to be a good mix of genre. But the first one wasn't that bad. That one tracking shot of him going through the building. Oh my god, the house. Phenomenal.
It just shows, and I think that's why we wanted to do a podcast, because you and I probably felt the same, like, goose pimples, where it was like, the first time we saw him, and it was like, lower angle shot, and the music started, and it panned up and did that oneer, and it was like, that's all film is, essentially, is just like a moving image and music, and the fact that that can do something where it was like, oh, shit.
I'm pumped.
And then, it did the rest of the scene, and it was fantastic, and it really I can't recall, it wasn't too crazy, like the violence, it was tame, but you knew, like, oh, because like the door swung or something, and then when you saw the woman in the house, she was killed, and it was like, that's all it is. I appreciate that, faking angles and little stuff. That's all film tricks to make it look better.
The second one just felt like they were trying too hard.
You can call it a cash grab if you want.
Oh,
because if someone offered us and was like, "Listen, we're going to give you $10 million per film," be like, "Well, can we make 3? Maybe we make a third." And it's like, "Are you sure?" But isn't the second
with the
one
possibility of a spinoff?
Isn't the second one going to just be a lot of fluff and filler? And it's like, but the deaths, and the score. They didn't even really use the score. This one had a very. Right?
Yeah.
This was the one with the weird score.
I'm trying to remember it, but I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Isn't it the one where it was like the music from Fight Club at the end, the Pixies?
Yeah.
Or something? I don't know.
I'm hoping that this is recording right now. Let's take a small commercial break. Do you want to run out? Because I'm kind of clocked in here. Just make sure it's recording.
The cam?
Yeah.
Yeah. The red button's on?
Okay, cool. Cool.
Button? 18 minutes?
18 minutes. Almost 19 minutes. Nice. Cool.
Yeah, Christ.
All right. Break over. All right. So we talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I don't want another Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, absolutely
I
not.
think, okay, like I was willing to do it, but I was talking about this with someone else, and it's like, one, the mask was terrible. And I'll put it to you like this. You just hear they're remaking Jaws. What's your biggest concern?
What?
No. I'm saying in hypothetical.
The shark.
The shark. So when you hear of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, the mask,
Ooh.
and the killer, and it's just like, again, did anyone have a pulse when they okay, this is the one we're going to go with?
It's like they showed them the first mask they made, and they're like, all right, cool, whatever, do it. It looked terrible. And you can see, and like you, this isn't even a spoiler. You can see it in the poster and in the trailer. It's fucking.
When
terrible.
I saw the trailer and there's like the corn stalk thing, and
scene, I looked at it. I was like, this is gonna be good.
In the trailer, you thought that?
I thought it was, not the mask.
Oh, okay.
Just the
the
feel and the look to it, and like I was like, all right, they're trying something new with this character, and they're bringing it new age, and it's gonna be a breath of fresh air for the franchise. And boy, it was the fucking wrong air to breathe.
I will say this. I don't think we'll ever get... Obviously, the original, for everyone, is like up here.
It's not, though. If you watch the original again, it's fucking terrible. But it's iconic.
I think what really shines is the cinematography and the production design of it.
Yeah. Oh,
Because that
absolutely.
was the first, like, that house
Uh-huh.
does not look right.
Right.
And obviously that one tracking shot to the house that's like now. I was actually watching something on this not too long ago. It's like a girl in red shorts and it's underneath a swinging bench by the house, and it follows her with just her leg, her hips and frames, and then up to the house.
Right.
And that's where she gets taken. Her boyfriend just got like crushed in the head.
Did they use a Steadicam for that?
Sure.
Because I know Halloween was the first film to actually utilize the.
Well, it's a very steady shot, and it's an iconic shot, you know, of something in horror. But okay, so like the first film is obviously well regarded because it's the original. The 2003 remake for me,
I dug it.
There's not going to be another film like that because of the vibe that Arlie Ermey was able to bring. Just something about him, kind of how I was talking about with Halloween Kills. They went with that, like the town. It's the town. Arguably or inarguably, Texas Chainsaw Massacre has one of the best towns in horror film settings. Like, it's just a hot, desolate area, and the townsfolk do not give a fuck. Yeah. It's like they're
all in on it.
It's, I don't know what's worse, if like being in the middle of the ocean and not knowing there's no help coming. I think that was a double negative. Knowing there's no help coming, or seeing people and thinking they'll help me and they're not going
they're in on it.
Yeah, and it's like, what is terror? So I do think 2003 remake from Arlie Ermey.
It's hard to judge these things too because I love that movie, but also I was 12 years old when it came out. So
I was in like 5th grade.
2003? 12. Yeah. Were you born in 90?
91.
91, yeah.
Some would say the best year of the 90s.
Yeah, amen. Speaking of the 90s and the best years for horror, we got to talk about Scream. And I know we have differing opinions on this for certain reasons, but
before you get into Scream, anything else you want to cap off with Halloween and stuff? Like, you know, you and I, we're going to watch the third one. We're going to watch Halloween.
We have to see how it ends.
We got to see
it. Yeah. I was just very disappointed. I remember scoffing in theaters like 15 times. Like,
yeah, I did too. The whole theater did. Everyone.
That's true,
actually, no, I think at the end I was like, this movie is terrible. Yeah. Someone next to us was like, oh, the movie was pretty good. And I was like, well, that's just like your opinion, man. What am I going to say? It's what he thinks, and I want to think something different. So God bless and good luck with that.
I don't know. I thought the first one was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a fun feel with the kids in it, and like new faces and everything going on. It was good. So for the sequel, for the second one, Halloween Kills, I think that the flashback scene is pretty cool. Flashback scene was
with
decent.
Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, with Loomis and the what's his name, the sheriff, and when he was younger.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. I really dug that. They captured the feeling of the 70s. But then everything else was just kind of whatever.
Jamie Lee Curtis
was
majority of it. They gave her carte blanche.
And she was in the hospital for majority of the movie.
She was in one room in the hospital for most of the movie.
And then what's his name? The sheriff, the sheriff who died in the first one. Clearly died.
Yes.
I forget his name. He was in Armageddon. The actor, whatever.
The Ed Harris knockoff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden in the beginning of this, he's like, I have to kill him. It's on me. Like, what the fuck? You died already. And then the rest of the movie, you're in the hospital like, I'm going to kill him. No, you're not, bro. Settle down. Heal.
Something about these horror movies where it's like, I'm willing to believe, like, all right, he stayed alive long enough to shoot the shot and saved everybody. But for that, when he got killed, and we thought he got killed in the original, I was like, damn, or the 2018 remake. But to segue this into Texas Chainsaw again, the woman from what we think is the original movie, the sheriff now, who's been waiting for Leatherface for 50 years, she got, no exaggeration, chainsawed in the midsection. 6
Lifted up in the air.
With it. And
it's fucking cutting every
and I thought it was kind of funny. He threw her to the side like a pile of trash.
Yeah, like nothing. That was pretty funny. And then she's still alive. Here, take my gun.
5 minutes later, she fired the shot.
But it's so annoying.
She curved the bullet.
She fucking gets to him, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you." And then she says, "Do you remember me?" And because he pays her no mind and doesn't speak, even though he doesn't speak in general, she just stares at him and lets him walk out. And then 10 minutes later, when he's about to kill the girl, all of a sudden she's like, I'm here, motherfucker. You were right there in front of him. You could have blown him away with the fucking shotgun. You were 3 feet away. But obviously the movie had to go on. But they could have done something where she went to shoot him and he grabbed the fucking... And then all of a sudden she comes back because she didn't die. But it was just like, bro.
I think it's inexcusable to think the audience is willing to suspend belief that much.
Right.
Because the film itself wasn't campy or cheesy. There wasn't a vibe like that kind of allowed it.
Right.
Like, I don't know, you probably don't remember it distinctly, but Friday the 13th Part 6
is that the one with Corey?
No,
Feldman?
That's like 4.
Oh.
But it's the same character, Tommy Jarvis. But this one is like, Jason's dead. They go to the graveyard and dig him up, and like he stabs the corpse, and lightning.
Is that and that's when it goes into what's his name's body?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it goes into Jason's body, and Jason comes back from the dead, and is like
no. I'm thinking of the one where
you're thinking of like
Jason's on the.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Was it Jason Goes to Hell where
with the heart?
Maybe, but I'm thinking of the one where it opens up where he's laying in the morgue and his spirit gets transferred into the mortician.
That's 9, I think. Yeah, because it's 8 is Jason takes Manhattan.
Right.
Then the one you're talking about where the end is the Freddy Krueger claw on the ground.
Maybe.
The mask, and then I'd
have to go through the whole.
Jason X in space, and then
you bought that right? The whole series on DVD?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember that.
We could check it out.
Cool.
I just rewatched them. Some of them are terrible. But that's what I'm getting at, is like, Friday the 13th Part 6 was the epitome of, for me anyways, in a horror franchise, the cheesiest of the cheese.
Yeah.
Where he's dead. Literally,
worse
the
than
villain
Jason X?
is dead. And, because, not worse, I like Part 6.
Okay.
But the fact that he stabbed his corpse, and they walked away, they're like, he's fine. A bolt of lightning hit it. It was like a rainstorm just automatically came, and it was like the clouds. And it hit him, and they were like, Gadzooks, like, what was that? And of course, Jason comes back, and it's like, boy. These new Texas Chainsaw Massacres and the Halloweens, they didn't have any of that campy vibe that kind of allowed it, where it's like, all right, the lady got lifted with the chainsaw, she's fine.
At the same time, they're trying to take themselves too seriously. Which is cool.
Yeah.
If they were to do that, like if they were to have a serious version of the movie, and it's hard to describe. I don't know. It's just it wasn't good.
You can't have both. You can't be an art house film and a slasher film. I just don't. At least maybe a director can. Maybe we could do that. But the way that they're handling this is just approach from 2 angles, and it's nobody's fault really. It's very tough to juggle, where it's like it has to pay homage, it has to be a new sequel, it has to be more violent, but we need old actors, and while continuing the franchise killing off the past. So I get it. It's kind of like making a souffle, where it's like you have to tread very lightly on this because it's sacred ground to horror fans that are obsessed with this.
Right.
And it's tough because the film industry, regardless, is like, it's a heartless industry where it's like, well, whatever we got to do, get it done under budget and get it now. And God, if we have to film in Bulgaria or Romania instead of Texas,
we're doing it.
The last thing I want to say,
they must have a really good tax credit there.
I guess they must. I don't know. I'll have to call my peeps in Romania. Zdrazica. And
okay.
I did not like. Last thing I want to say, I did not enjoy the anti-gun narrative being pushed in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So,
like right from the jump in the opening scene,
we're introduced to the badass character who is seemingly going to save the day. The mechanic guy, and he has his gun on his waist in Texas. Where every time you get, or when you get your driver's license, they give you a gun.
It was a holstered 44.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything crazy.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was a handgun.
This girl the main chick decides to say out loud, how small does your dick have to be to carry a gun like that in your hip? Like, bro, I wanted him to look at her and be like, would you fuck with me right now? No, you wouldn't. That is why this is on my hip.
And you know what was odd is they couldn't have made him more of a gentleman throughout.
Right.
Like literally, it was like He was just pumping gas.
Which is great. I like that they did that. I like that they didn't try to make him an overzealous hillbilly,
disdain tank
racist. He was a great dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab this other beer because I'm done with that one.
Oh. Also, I don't know why, at the end, all of a sudden it was just revealed in a flashback past trauma where it was like...
A school shooting.
A school shooting. And a cell phone right next to them.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay. And then it just cut back. And I'll never forget, I've never seen a horror movie. This girl was running with an AR. It looked like an AR-15. And Leatherface was behind her with the chainsaw. And it was just like... It doesn't feel like it's I don't even know if I'm using this word in the right context. Pro-woke? Because it's like, she should know how to operate that gun to save herself.
Right. Right.
And
that was the thing. He was showing her how to do it. Like, he was going to show her how to do it, at least it feels like. But... Yeah.
Clumsy narrative added for no reason. Yeah. Not the motif, but like an underlying sub-theme where it's just like, violence and beating people with a hammer. And then
of course they had to show the whatchamacallit, I'm drawing a blank right now. The flag.
I don't know. What flag?
The flag that he had to climb up to take down because
the Confederate flag.
Confederate flag. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. They had to show the Confederate flag. I mean, they are in the South, blah, blah, blah. It was obviously an old, tattered flag. It's been there for fucking eons.
Yeah. The thing is, I've never, ever viewed Texas Chainsaw Massacre as the franchise to be like, man, the world's crazy. Like, it's about, when you think of the inspiration for Tobe Hooper, like, it was about a cross-dressing guy that killed people and turned their skin into a lampshade. Yeah. In Texas. So, the title is so, like, it never made me think of, like, gather round, honey, we're going to learn something. What's the film tonight? It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like,
we're going to learn some morals.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that the general population, I'm sure that there's a few who enjoy it because they live it, I guess, but I feel like the general population is just so sick and tired of this narrative being involved in every single aspect of their life.
I talked to a couple of my friends about it, and a lot of them didn't even notice. And I think most people aren't viewing film maybe how intensely we are, where it's like, God, we know now nothing in the background is there, just there. Like it all has a reason or rhyme or reason. Jesus, Wes Anderson's using tube of chapstick for it's green because it's it's his favorite color or something. So we'll save Wes Anderson for another podcast.
All right, I was gonna say because
because I see it in your eyes. I'm he's about to explode.
Wes Anderson's one of my favorite.
Wes, if you're watching,
I love you. I know you're not watching, but I do. I love every single one of Wes Anderson's films, and this last one he tried to out Wes Anderson himself, I feel like. But anyway, that's for another podcast.
So, start us off with Scream.
Okay.
Because I know, can I say it? I know it's your favorite movie.
Yeah, it is.
The 1996, right? Yep. So, what do you think?
So, Scream was the very first horror movie I ever saw and got me into horror. Which is funny because it was supposed to make fun of horror movies and everything like that, but it was...
Were you 5 when you watched it?
Yeah, oh yeah. I had a big, thick VHS tape. You know how VHSs came with the slipcover? But some of them had the plastic open one. I had one of those. It was black with Drew Barrymore on the cover. And
just a knife in the face? Or
no, it was just Drew Barrymore And I watched it, and I was in that phase where if I liked something, Mom, rewind it, I'm watching it again.
Cool.
And I watched it 3 times. And I shouldn't have been watching. Well, whatever. Maybe some people say a 5-year-old shouldn't be watching shit like that, which probably not, but I turned out okay. But that was... It just... Something about it. I just loved every aspect of it. So... And I like the sequels too. Scream 2 was dope at the university. I feel like they probably shouldn't have killed Jamie Kennedy's character.
I think it was wise. The screenwriter for those, Kevin Williamson, his guys did Seven as well.
Mm-hmm.
They were onto something in that I won't say writer's room, but just like going through the movie where it was like, let's make it meta.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole thing. Film where the first one did such a great job of like Jamie Kennedy, right? Mm-hmm. Step back, and it's like
played Randy.
We gotta survive a horror movie, and it's like, oh, they don't know they're really in a horror movie. So for the sequel, it was like started at the movie theater, and they're seeing a movie based on the stuff that they think is real. It's almost like watching the metaverse unfold, where it's like,
it's dope.
It's a movie in the movie that's based on the real life.
Exactly, it's fucking, it's amazing. And
fun. Yeah, it's very good.
And just real quick, I love the nod that Wes Craven pulls with Drew Barrymore's character when he asks her what her favorite movie is, and she's like, "Is that the one with the claws?" And she's like, "Oh, those are scary." And she's like, "Oh, the first one is. The rest of them are lame," because Wes obviously only did the first one and hated the sequels. But anyway, so the second one was dope. The third one, a lot of people hate, but
Liev Schreiber in the movie theater.
Liev Schreiber dies. Is the first one to die in the third one.
I love his name.
Yeah,
that's an interesting name.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
The fact that they even got him. I mean, it was early '90s, but he's a good actor. So the third one originally was supposed to be, I think, Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox getting attacked.
Correct.
And something happened with the script. They didn't go with it, so then they brought Liev in to do that opening. But the third one went through a lot of hurdles, and you could tell with it. But there's only one killer. A lot of people hate it. I liked it. I thought it was cool because it brought us to Hollywood, showing us that they're making Stab. Well, you know what I mean? So
Isn't it like
in the first
sequel to Stab?
Yeah. So the first one, it's just Scream. The second one, we see them in the theater. Halle Berry in the theater watching Stab based off the first one.
Oh my god!
And then the third one brought us to Hollywood. So we left Woodsboro and we went to LA. And it was cool because, like, obviously I wanted to be a filmmaker since early age. So watching them do that, it was a cool vibe. The fourth one came out a while, like 10 years after the third one or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Sounds fair.
The fourth one came out and got a lot of hate, but I thought it was fucking fantastic. How they brought in the new age version of like how everything would go. I thought it was fantastic. I thought, is it Rory Culkin? There's three of them. I don't know if it was Rory or if it was
the guy from Succession.
No, it was his younger brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was great in it.
Okay.
I think Hannah Panettiere, Kirby. She played Kirby.
Okay.
One of the best characters in the whole series, which is cool because there's a nod to her in the fifth one.
Okay.
But I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. And then the new one came out, and then we get into the whole nuance of the what is it? What did she say? Requel. I thought it was fun. I will say I think it was my least favorite of the five.
Okay.
But that's not saying much because I love them. Yeah, I love them all.
Oh, okay.
Why? What did you think?
I don't recall 3 enough to be able to rate it. I don't enjoy 4, but I would watch it again.
Okay.
Nothing really stood out to me. Like, put it this way. I would not be opposed to it snowing tonight and being like, you know, watch all 5 of these right now. Yeah. All right. Well, that's fine.
That'd be cool. That'd be fun to watch all 5 of them in a row. I haven't done that.
The first.
I'm cold right now. Are you?
Yes, I'm cold. I'm trying not to shiver. We built Christian. Full credit. Built this amazing little set.
It's in a basement.
This is a load-bearing poster, so we can't move it. Otherwise, everything will collapse on us.
It's actually coming off.
And
Nah, we're good.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
you know what? I didn't want to look because I kind of saw it.
Yeah, it'll stay.
Okay, it's fine.
If it falls, it'd be funny. Whatever. Mm-hmm. We got another one.
What the heck was I going to say?
Watching all 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to watching any, but I know deep down in my heart of hearts, 3 and 4 are...
Your least favorite?
Yeah, like they could not exist and the world would be fine. I don't see that affecting the butterfly effect.
Right.
2 was very intriguing to me because this is such an interesting franchise to write and develop because it's not just like, well, it's some... cross-dresser with a chainsaw, and it's like, well, you know, we're waiting for bodies to come down the pig trough to zap them with the chainsaw. It's like, and it's the town isn't working against them. If we're going to go back to that whole thing we've been talking about, it's like it has to be smart. The kills have to be done in a murderer fashion. Not so much like maybe because I guess they want to get away with it. So it's not sloppy.
Right.
I would say this is one of the, I can't really think of too many other than like American Psycho of a proper horror movie.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, we're going to kill these people, and he's wearing gloves, he's wearing the mask, he's distorting his voice. Like, it was a very refreshing franchise. I didn't see the series. I didn't watch on MTV.
All right,
when I saw the trailer with the mask, again, I was just like, all right,
the mask
you
threw me
lost
off.
me.
I didn't finish it. I think Kayla and I watched maybe like the first 6 episodes. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But and it, like it's very like folklore-ish, and it has nothing to do with the movies. It has absolutely nothing to do with the movies. It's kind of just a spin-off, but so
I hate those too.
Yeah, so like the one girl's mom. There was this weird dude back in like the 70s.
Okay.
And he was like, you know, the stereotypical killer of like prom night or something like that.
Okay.
And he was in love with this girl's mom, and like they were talking to each other on the dock, and like he got pushed in the water, and everyone thought he died and everything like that. And then apparently he comes back. I didn't watch the whole thing to see if it was him or not, but I don't think it was. I think it was one of the kids.
Okay.
But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I wouldn't watch it again, or recommend it to anyone.
I'm not gonna watch it. Period.
Yeah.
I just feel like life sometimes like, all right, I'm willing to watch the third Halloween, even though I hated the second one. But time is precious. I can't be watching everything. Like 10 hours of a Scream show that has nothing to do with Scream.
Right.
Well, it might. You didn't finish it, so we can't go by your word. But I'm not for it.
Yeah.
I also don't like that about remakes and stuff lately, where it's like the most recent one I can think of is with the Big Lebowski and Jesus. I almost said Jesus Walks.
I know.
What is it?
We were watching the documentary.
What's the movie I'm thinking?
Jesus Rolls.
Yeah, something like that. Where it's like,
we have a.
Okay, we're gonna take it's a sequel, but it has nothing to do with the fucking first one at all. Other than like we're gonna kind of mention like, oh well, you know, I'm a bowler or something. It doesn't matter. Just it's like
Coen Brothers had nothing to do with it, right?
If they, I hope not. I'm pretty sure that. Oh man, how you say his name? John Turturro.
Torturo.
Yeah, Turturro. Yeah. He was like, "Hey, Coens, can I use this?" And they must have been high or drunk or something. And they were like, "Yeah, John, you could use it." And I'm sure when they saw it, they must have been like,
"Can I say like, all right, if we were on the Coen Brothers level, and because you know the Coen Brothers are like, yeah, we're the shit. Everything we make is fucking gold." If John Turturro, one of our good friends who's been in a bunch of our movies, like, hey, I want to do this, but yeah, sure, do it. Whatever. It's not going to ruin the original.
I don't care who it is. I want to see the script.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I would rather make 5 good movies than 15 and some of them are junk. Yeah. Like, I'd really...
What Coen Brothers movies don't you like?
Oh, boy.
You know what movie I just saw?
Man, I'm trying to think. Like their filmography is like going through my head, and I'm like,
Kayla and I just saw Hail Caesar for the first time. Okay. It's one of the ones I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
It's got a great cast.
Yeah, I heard a lot of bad things about it, so I just never really watched it. And we watched it because we had time, and it was. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Buster, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
I was gonna say maybe it can,
I think it's a Netflix film. Actually,
get a list together and I can come back to this Coen brother thing.
Okay, we'll revisit.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll do an episode on favorite directors.
I will say this with Scream 5 before we're all over the place. This is the first one in the franchise where, rest in peace to Wes Craven. Craven directed all 4 of the first films. The first 4 films, I should say. He passed away. They got these 2 directors. They're the guys that did You're Next. And I thought Scream 5 was kind of like all over the place because it was trying to do that like, you know that we got to be the franchise that's very meta and aware of itself while being the original and the reboot and all this stuff. Again, the souffle.
Right.
The kills were done so well. I can't think of one kill that I hated, and I know.
You know my favorite kill. It was
like,
it was
I don't know what it is about killing like mechanics and like that kind of character. It's like a guy goes by his car, and it's just Ghostface pops up with his knife. It's typical knife, like I don't know. It's not really a Skinner blade, but I don't know what it is.
Oh,
and it's just a quick like poke.
Yeah.
But,
so in the originals, like if that were the thing, he would have turned around and they would have scuffled for a little bit, and then he would have killed him eventually. He doesn't even know he's there, and he just looks at him standing straight.
He sees a reflection, right?
No. Oh, maybe he might. I don't know. Okay. But he just sticks him like that, and the fucking sound, and he just fucking reacts to it.
Yeah,
it was like, oh my god,
because
like,
it's something like you can't change that. I feel like a portal's about to open.
It is. Maybe it'll stay. Maybe it won't. Maybe go fuck yourself. I just saw something. Oh, fuck off. Maybe we'll just spray paint on it. This is the first episode, so we're probably gonna fix the setup. I want to get like different chairs so we can like face each other.
I want to do it outside in the mud.
Okay. I just saw something where Mark Wahlberg said that he went in to pitch for a sequel to whatchamacallit? Departed.
Shouldn't be that hard.
They fucked up like horribly.
Who?
Whoever wrote it and like whoever went in with him to pitch. And Brad Pitt and Robert De Niro were supposed to be in it.
I'm pretty sure that those are based on Chinese or Japanese films called like Internal Affairs, and there was 2 or 3 of them. So it shouldn't be that hard to pitch.
But then they based because what's his name?
It's the Bush Lights.
It's the Bush Lights. He definitely. Jack Nicholson's character was based off of Whitey.
Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
From
from Dawson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who Johnny Depp played in Black. Whatever. But,
interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so Scream 5 kills were cool.
Yeah, they were done tastefully. I really wish it's like one of those things where it's I kind of feel bad for the directors where it's like, man, I just wish Wes Craven could have seen it and to get the thumbs up from Wes Craven, and I really do think he would have given it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they were done so well.
I guess all right. So I'm biased going into it. I had fun with it because just seeing everyone again, and
didn't.
It was fun for me.
I did not have fun at all. No, so I did not enjoy. I gave it a 5.5 too. It was like,
damn.
Sorry, you like the franchise more than me, so
spoiler alert again.
You got to do like an effect where it like spins and it's like
spoiler alert.
It's the whole episode.
Dewey dies. I was a little like, why?
That's
come on.
A heavy spoiler.
Well, I mean, come on. If you haven't seen it yet, don't watch the show. We told you ahead of time. There's going to be spoilers.
Spoiling every
fucking Dewey dies, man. Like that, and it's like part of you knows it's going to happen eventually if they continue it because it's like he gets away with dying every movie.
Yeah.
But they killed my boy off. And I thought he was really good in this one, honestly.
Yeah.
He was funny.
I like David Arquette.
His character was, depressed because him and Gale Weathers aren't together anymore. And then we find out that they probably shouldn't have gotten a divorce in the first place because they still loved each other. And before they can reconcile, Dewey dies. And then you can see, because Courtney Cox and David Arquette were married in real life. So I'm sure she used that
as inspiration for this.
Then she legit looked upset when he died, and it's like, but Courtney Cox isn't Courtney Cox anymore because she's gotten way too much facial reconstruction surgery.
I don't even know.
And she looks odd, but her and Neve Campbell are barely in it.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Because in the one scene that they're in, this is another thing that's like, oh my God. I've spent an hour and 20 minutes building up to this crap at the end. And they literally, it's in the trailer. These 2 women look at each other and they're like, you ready for this? Because I'll tie in the Billy Loomis house. They're about to go.
It's Stu's house.
Stu's house, I'm sorry. And they're about to go into the house and they're like, you ready for this? And she goes, nah, never. They take 2 steps into the lawn, she's shot. They They did so much stuff, and they're like, you ready? It's like the equivalent if the Rocky montage ended with round 1 knockout and just a smash cut to it, where it was like, come on, hit the meat, and then it was just like, pop. I didn't like that because I wanted to see so much more with them, and it's like you just killed off Arquette, and it's like, okay, what are you going to do?
This is what they're talking about with the requel. They're diverting away from the original cast to start a new cast. Which, I mean, they're getting old. We get it.
I think we're getting old. I feel like you got to realize, like, maybe we're not the audience that they're trying
that's the
to
thing,
market
too. That's
to.
why
Maybe we're not the demographic.
And that's what I mean with Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out in 2003. Like, I was 12 years old. That's why I love it. And, like, it's hard to judge. But I wasn't... I mean, it was pretty obvious, but I wasn't a big fan of who the killers were.
In what?
In Scream 5. I mean, they didn't have the motive that the others had in the previous installments. But I don't know.
Everything about it. By the time I found out who the killers were, I was like, I don't even care anymore. Turn the lights on in the theater. I want to go home.
What did you think of Billy being in it?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing. So I like that they used Skeet Ulrich as his age.
Yeah.
And they didn't do
a de-aging on him.
Did they a little bit? Okay, because I don't really know what Skeet looks like in...
He looks pretty good for his age.
Okay, but they didn't do a super deep fake.
Right.
Like, have you seen the crypto commercial with LeBron James and younger LeBron James? And just some of it, like, the technology's like 5 years out.
Yeah.
We'll get there. By 2000,
I think it looks pretty good, though.
By 2030, most of the movies are going to be dead people and old people that are young, and, you know, it's like The Irishman. Like, it's almost there. We're getting there.
I think the problem with The Irishman, it didn't look terrible. I think the problem was, it didn't look terrible. I think the problem was that they were using Robert De Niro's body. And he's like fucking 75, dude. So, like, watching him try to beat someone up, it doesn't look intense. It looks like a 75-year-old man trying to stomp some guys, trying to curb stomp someone.
I hate that movie.
Did you?
The Irishman, yeah.
I didn't think it was terrible. I honestly, it was way too long.
With the Scream 5 thing, I think that was the first time I've seen a movie use an actor as like a ghost or like a persona in somebody's head.
Okay.
And it didn't feel out of place. Like, it felt like that was the right thing to do. I actually think that was the coolest part, was, do they all want her to be the serial killer? Where it's like, oh, your dad's this? Because I often think about that, where it's like, imagine if Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy or something was your dad. And obviously they're dead or whatever, but it's like the sins of the father carry, like, they're always following you.
Right.
And it's like, she could be a decent person. Or she's a crazy fucking bitch like her dad. I don't know.
Right.
So I like that. And like I said, the death's very well done. The story, though, enough is enough. I'll commend them for the whole meta thing. There's no other movie franchise I can think of where, maybe one movie, but no movie that's 5 movies deep and still doing it. So they're trying.
I think that Scream was the first.
Yeah, they're
the
really
first
trying.
of its kind, and it sparked the slasher genre back to life.
I would consider it our 90s horror movie. The 90s horror movie. Because, like, if I think anything else, I'm like, yeah, there's Friday the 13th, there's this. But as far as the 90s is concerned, like, it's Scream.
Yeah.
That's the horror movie that stands out to me. My mind's so blocked right now from chugging these Busch Lights, I can't even think of, like, another 90s horror movie that could be on top tier with...
Faculty. Faculty came out in 99, I think.
Yeah, you're catching it, but it's just...
I love Faculty. That's one of my favorite movies, too.
I know, but it's like R-rated. I'm talking, like, for a horror movie, who's the... I just saw my breath down here.
Did you?
Who's the killer?
Okay.
Because that's what I think qualifies for a slasher movie.
Oh, yeah, no.
So it's, Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Scream. Ghostface Killer. They introduced somebody, and it was like... oh, shit. And there's no lore about it. And it's hard to do because it's like, well, how are you afraid of someone that's clearly a person?
Right.
So you have to make them smart. And you have to... oh, he's in the fucking back door's not locked. Oh, he's on the phone.
Yeah.
And there was no cell phones. That's the thing I think works so great for the franchise. It's like, there was pay phones. Now it's like... I don't even pick up my phone when I see a number I don't know. I'm hell with this. So
I'm surprised that they even had a house phone in the new one. No one has house phones anymore. There's no reason for them. Everyone has a cell phone.
yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Is there any other remakes?
Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah. You just watched it. Okay, we haven't talked about it yet.
Well, we watched it together.
You're right.
Yeah, we watched it in
I'm
theaters
sorry.
together.
Before we started filming
I got the
this
Blu-ray,
episode, the Blu-ray was upstairs.
Yes.
His house. That's where we're filming. I thought he hasn't seen it, so that's why I was like, "Oh, what did you think of it?"
We watched it together.
I didn't realize it. Okay, yes, we did watch it. We're always sewn at the hip.
This is kind of... All right, so I'm in the same boat with this one as I am with Scream. In so many ways. But this one's not really... It is a reboot, but I don't consider the first Resident Evil series a thing. Because honestly...
I was just about to say, you don't...
I don't recognize it as
you don't
it being what it is. I don't validate it. No.
Really?
No, dude, because Resident Evil, like Scream was my first movie. Resident Evil was the first game. I remember my neighbor used to watch me and their son David had it. It was in the 90s. And I came up and said, "What are you playing?" And he said, "Resident Evil. It just came out." So we're playing it. And then they walk into the hallway. And then Claire looks down. She goes, "What is that?" And Wesker goes, "Blood." And then they walk into the hallway. And you see the fucking zombie munching. And then
was it Wesker?
It wasn't Wesker. In the movie, it was Wesker, but it was I forget his name.
Chris?
No, it wasn't Chris.
Okay, all right.
But the zombie turns around and looks at you.
Oh, yeah.
And I had nightmares, but I wanted to play it so bad.
I think of that scene.
Oh, my God.
Time capsule that image.
So my grandfather, God rest his soul, Benny Bagels, took me to the theater to see Resident Evil when it came out. What to see it talkie? When did Resident Evil the first one come out? Do you remember? Was it 02? Okay, so I was 11 years old. I'm going to the theaters, going to see a movie for my favorite game of all times, and it diverted so far away from the games and became its own thing that it shouldn't have been called Resident Evil. It should have been called something else. It was fucking terrible. It was fun. Yeah. It was cool, but it wasn't the game, and it pissed me off so bad. I remember being 11 years old, being so disappointed, like the first time being disappointed in a movie. So I hate the Resident Evil series. And what's his name directs it? Jovovich's husband. He's a fucking quack. I'm sorry. You're a professional director, and you're great at your job, but... I don't like your movies.
Do you think it was because at the time for it being so early? So let's put it in context. Resident Evil's released, 95 or 97
I believe
or something,
so, yeah.
98 maybe?
No, it was earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they do the video game movie. And the only other video game movies I really know is like John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins.
Super Mario?
Yeah, Super Mario
I fucking
Brothers.
love that movie.
Okay.
But I was very young when I saw it, so.
As was I. And... maybe the gaming industry, you got to think, like, we're in 2022. That was, 2002. So 20 years ago, the gaming industry wasn't what it is now. So maybe a lot of people don't know that it's the house, and they don't know that it's
I will disagree with you on that. I think the gaming industry back then with Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox wasn't a thing yet, but Nintendo and PlayStation fighting at each other, I think video games at that point was at their first peak. Okay. And then Xbox and PlayStation.
I can't lie to you. I've never owned a PlayStation.
No?
I actually hate PlayStation. I hate everything about it. And I think it's just because it's no fault of mine. Like, I did not have that. I'm an only child. I did not have these games. I didn't have anyone to play it. I played, together or something. I remember seeing a few scenes. That's how I know, like, the zombie turns, the dogs are jumping through the window.
The crows. It's fucking so scary. It's fucking scary.
Yeah, it was
coolest thing, the funnest thing about the game is that it's, aside from being a zombie game, and like a first-person shooter, it's a bunch of puzzles. Okay. That's the whole game is you figuring out puzzles of how to get to the next section. Yeah, it's cool. But anyway, I digress.
I was trying to defend, in a sense of maybe the Hollywood producers were like, no one's gonna know what the fuck this Wesker guy is and all this, and it probably
Wesker's in it.
Okay,
but he's like the new one captured the games, the first two games.
Oh yeah.
Not 100%, but it captured the essence of the games.
I'm over here. I just said I've never really played the games, and I'm like, yeah, it captured. I'm like, I know the shots. Like I'm not like I've just been living under a rock for 20 years, but it's passed me by. I'd love to play it if you offered to. After this,
I had the second one upstairs that they remastered for the PS4.
Right on.
It's fucking great. Dude.
Okay.
Oh.
So, I do think that yes, you're right. It tried to stay with the game because the game is like monsters and all sorts of stuff other than zombies.
Somewhat,
the acting was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, please! I was gonna say from the jump, and it's unfortunate.
Oh, I will agree with you.
It's just like, holy shit, this is bad.
I agree with you 100%. It was cheesy as hell.
Not in a good way. It didn't work for it.
No, it was cheesy
the budget of the zombies looked good.
Right.
The zombies weren't cheesy.
Right.
But it was just like...
So, yeah, and then it just goes back to nostalgia for me. Like, just the fact that they got the... And even though it was full CG, and you could tell the mansion was full CG, and they shot it in front of a green screen, it was just cool that they stuck to the original stories of the games. And they kind of intertwined the first two games. Like, in the games, they are simultaneous.
Okay.
Somewhat. But, and the only thing, like, and it shouldn't, because I was so happy that they stuck to the original stories, but they messed a few things up. Like, for some reason, Chris was the one who found that first zombie who looked up at him, and it wasn't him in the beginning. It was Claire. I believe. Okay. Claire or... Yeah, Claire. No, not Claire. What's her name? Fuck, the cop. The other cop.
Jill Valentine?
Jill. It was Jill who found him.
I haven't even played the games.
Honestly, I guess it depends on who you picked.
Okay.
I always pick Jill. Because you could pick either one. And it's pretty much... No, it's a different storyline. Either one you pick. Anyway, I thought it was cool. The police station... And the helicopter flew into the mansion, even though they flew into the police station in the games.
Okay.
So there's a couple of little things that are off, but as a whole, I mean, I thought it was fun. Kayla didn't like it. Kayla didn't enjoy it. Of course, she didn't play the games, but...
I just look at it as, am I entertained? Would I watch it again? No.
Right.
For many reasons. Other than the zombie scenes, and I'm so tired. I'm so quick to like defend these movies where it's like, oh well, the death scenes were cool. Yeah. Oh well, they did this. No. Fuck you. You guys had this big budget, and you know what this means to people.
Right.
Resident Evil isn't just like, some
little thing.
Yeah. Like, there's so much about it.
People like me who fucking love this.
And give it the budget already. I mean, good lord. We're talking from 2002. For me, I like Resident Evil Apocalypse. The sequel. I know it's terrible. I don't even think I
saw it. Was the second one?
With Nemesis.
Okay,
and they're in the city just because it got them out of the house. I like the first Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I have a crush on Michelle Rodriguez. I think the zombies, like some of those scenes for me, because I didn't play the game when I saw it, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool. I watched that on
Some of the zombies in the remake were kind of lame, I will say.
Some zombies are lame. It doesn't matter what
suck.
it is. I mean, sheesh. Like, even The Walking Dead, like, sometimes it's like, that's just a dude in a gray shirt. Because, Well,
I don't know. Greg Nicotero is pretty on point. Like, I think I stopped watching Resident Evil. I stopped watching Walking Dead.
Yeah.
At like season 5 or something like that. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that there is another Resident Evil series now coming out on Netflix with Lance.
It's a cartoon though, isn't it?
I'm not sure. It's the guy from The Wire. He played like the deputy.
I don't know. So this is the thing. Like I heard that they were doing a remake of Resident Evil, and then I saw that Netflix is doing one too, but it was a cartoon. And I was like, oh, I thought they were doing a live action one. And then the trailer came out for the live action one. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There was a lot of things where I was like, damn.
The end of last year, I was like, I'm so hyped because Scream trailer came out, Resident Evil came out, Halloween was coming out, and a couple of other horror movies that we went to theaters and fucking fell asleep during.
I remember you sent me the trailer for Scream 5, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
But I'm just like tired of it.
Yeah.
I didn't need anything after one.
It's true.
Ever.
But the thing is,
I'm cool they did it.
The thing is, we'll always have the first 4. You know what I mean? So regardless if they keep coming out with them, like it's fun to watch, but like we'll still have the originals.
I think. What didn't they do Stab 6 in Scream 5?
I think they're at I think they're at Stab
8 or something.
8.
Yeah, it was something 9. High in there where they were just like
Stab 4 or Scream 4, they had like the triple opening.
Okay.
And they were talking about how Stab 6 had time travel or something like that. So they were poking fun of like when you get to a certain point in a sequel, like you have to up the ante, and it just Jason goes to fucking space. Leprechaun is right in space.
Friday 13th 6, man. That's what I'm saying. Lightning bolt revives him. And like, oh man. Yeah, I wish the Resident Evil was a lot more.
Yeah.
I do, and I hopefully a studio comes out or something, and they're like, listen, we're gonna get some actors in here, and we're gonna really do it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. I like the way they handled Wesker's character.
Okay.
Because they showed him as like a normal dude who's just like kind of falls into the bad group of people.
Okay.
He's like a real person, but like he's like, I need money, I need to do this, so fuck off.
All right.
But I don't know how much I'm more. The reason I bought the Blu-ray though is because there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It was cool.
For who?
For Resident Evil.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was cool.
Is there any other remake that you want to talk about?
I'm
Like,
trying
is there
to
any
think.
other thing that came out that?
Recently, Candyman, but I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't either.
I wanna. I heard mixed reviews on it.
I did too.
But-
I forget what I saw instead of that, and then just it was weird. Like the
Malignant.
pandemic or something
You wouldn't
was
see
coming
Malignant.
out, or like
Didn't see
Omicron, or it was like, oh, I don't even know if we didn't go because of that or something. I have no idea. I'm gonna blame Omicron.
Omicron did it.
What did we see?
Malignant.
Horse shit.
Possibly the worst movie I've ever seen in recent years.
Man, good lord.
Terrible.
So
Horrendous.
we were going with another friend. Hi, Chris. If you're watching
What's up,
this.
Chris?
And it was like, what do you guys want to see? Y'all want to see Candyman? Or you want to see Malignant? And I was like, yo, the trailer for Malignant looks crazy.
Yeah.
That one-er shot from above in a downward angle, and it was her going through the house and stuff. It was that was awesome.
They almost pitched it like a similar vibe and shooting style to whatchamacallit, Hereditary.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, this is going to be another like psychological thriller. It's going to be dope. And then I think 10 minutes in, we were like, boo.
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it opened up in like the asylum or wherever it was.
It felt like House on Haunted Hill.
I'm very stuffy right
where
now.
It was just where it was just like, oh, there's like an asylum
that
thing
could use a remake.
There.
House on Haunted Hill. The original wasn't that bad. Kayla and I watched it.
The
like,
Vincent Price?
Maybe like no. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking House on Haunted Hill. I was thinking of the other video game that came out because of Resident Evil. They made a movie about it. Fuck, I can't think of it now. Anyway, I can't think of it. Shit. It'll come to me, but I'm not thinking about it. Go on.
Right on.
Haunting a Hill House. No, not Haunting a Hill House. Fucking up.
Dude, you're killing me.
I know.
Right now.
Haunting a Hill House was the same family as House on Haunted Hill, wasn't it? Same writer? Like a series of books?
I have no idea. I think you're merging like three things together.
I am.
House on Haunted Hill is the 1999 remake of the Vincent Price movie.
Yes. I love it.
You're thinking of Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix show.
I know. I don't know why I brought that in. I'm on the same page as you.
Okay.
We're talking about the 99 House on Haunted Hill.
What was I just talking about before that?
It had the same vibes.
Oh, it's Malignant.
Yeah.
Okay. Right away, man. I just knew. I was like, what the hell? What the hell are we watching? This is not the trailer.
Yeah.
Then the second scene was like this woman, and the boyfriend was like clearly abusive, but the way it was written is what I call like just a monkey on a typewriter, where it's like, he's typing the dialogue and it's like, babe, you know I don't like that or something. Like, they couldn't have made it more obvious that he was like not a good guy.
You might as well have looked at the audience and said, I'm not a good guy.
Yeah, and
don't like me.
And then just from there, it was very shaky. even when I'm not even going to waste my time and spoil this movie, but when the ending was,
I don't even remember the ending. Honestly,
told,
I erased it from my memory.
it was all her. That's what I'm saying.
That's interesting.
I screenshot something. God damn it!
He's new to iPhones.
I'm new to this planet. I'm like Encino Man.
That's a great movie. Fucking. All right, so I just thought of another one. It's older though, and I know you were so on it, but the It remake.
Oh, horrible!
Yeah, both of them.
Yes, the second worse than the last. Worse than
The second one was worse than the first. I agree with that.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, I thought the first one was decent. I saw it 3 times in theaters.
Oh my god!
Not by choice. Like, I went with you, and then I went with Kayla, and then I went with my family.
Okay.
But
not crazy. Like, the book's the book. Okay, cool.
I haven't read it. I know you read it. It's a big fucking book.
Correct. The opening scene, and when that scene got like uploaded to the internet, I watched it 10 times. Back to back, basically.
I remember.
The sewer scene?
Yes.
Where I was just like,
I remember you shared it to me on Instagram.
It's so good. I was like, it's crazy good. And I was following...
Do you want a balloon?
Hiya, George. I was following the remake hard because I know you haven't seen the first season. True Detective.
I haven't.
Kerry Joji Fukunaga was supposed to be the director of it.
Right.
And apparently it was too extreme. No, it was what his vision was they were like, whoa, I don't know about that. And they got rid of him. They also wanted a different kid for it. It was the guy from Meet the Millers or whatever. We're the Millers.
He was originally,
Will Poitier or something.
Yeah.
So that everyone got scrapped.
Yeah.
Then they threw this dude in here, the director, Andrew Muschietti.
Yeah.
Andy Muschietti. Absolutely not. His first film that Guillermo del Toro found was like a short film called Mama, which was all right. Okay. Yeah. The movie Mama was terrible.
That was terrible.
Fucking trash.
It was horrible.
In a bag.
I jumped once when she flew across the...
I jumped out of my seat when it was over.
Yeah.
I was like, get me out of here. And he's the nice one, if you haven't noticed. And then he got it, and I was like, all right, let's see what can happen. I think just some of the humor, some of the effects that they did, the CGI, especially in the CGI, second
I hated. The CGI
with the baby that comes. That's such a fucking great scene. The fortune cookie scene.
Yeah.
And it was like a baby.
Yeah.
Running around screaming. It was like, eh.
Like when
a few of the
they
things
were watching the slideshow in the garage, and he came out with like his huge head. The CG was just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It pulled me out of it completely.
Its budget almost worked against it. Where they're like, well, let's try this. And that's the fucked up thing is like...
The score was dope.
I can't even recall it, but...
I'm not even going to try it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The sewer scene was great because it was Bill as Pennywise and the kid. And we know what's going to happen, but we're so intrigued. It's such a delicious scene where it's like, I could fucking live in this scene all day. Because it's great. It's what I think of when I think of it.
Right.
Then they were just like, we'll CGI Bill. We'll make him big.
Yeah.
In part 2, he was like huge. He was like a statue or something. And God, I think it's the first one, they go to the house, and it's like a leper come out, a guy, like his nose is off, and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad, and it is tough to remake. It's tough to make, period, and dissect all that because there's so much stuff from the book that it's how do you get how do you cram this in on the side? And
even the original made for TV movie.
I hope we live long enough to see another remake. Yeah. What I really think would be cool is give it to HBO, give it to Netflix, give them 8 episodes.
Ooh, okay.
And develop it.
If we're gonna go series, if we're gonna go series, because Netflix has come out with a couple of really good things, but I think HBO is the king of series.
Yeah, I just think that what we've seen is like the equivalent of trying to microwave a steak. Okay. Where it's like, oh, this is it. Yeah. And it's like you could do anything you want with it. There's like a scene with Oh man, there's just so much. I can't even begin to
turtle.
go into it. And they were just like, pick that. No.
Yeah.
Throw it in there, you know.
I think we're going on over an hour right now. I don't mind. I don't have a preference of how long these are, but I'm just saying.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's good. It's good.
I was gonna say, I feel like a half hour was a good runtime.
Yeah.
I don't know how much people want to listen to.
Longer content seems to do better.
So
Anyway.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just tough, man.
Yeah.
I'm really tough with how.
No, I
do
agree with
film.
you. I agree with you.
definitely
They
more
were fun.
lenient than me.
I had fun with it. I know that it wasn't the greatest in the world, but it was all right.
The funny thing is, I've
second
looked
one
up
I didn't really
clips
like.
from it because
Yeah.
I want to like it.
When I found out that Bill Hader was in the second one, I was like, yes.
Oh yeah, the casting was
He's
fun.
playing
James
Richie,
McAvoy.
right? James McAvoy was great.
Yeah, beep beep Richie.
Yeah, but it was all right.
Yeah.
It was what it was. I honestly don't remember much from. I remember seeing the clip with, which I thought that what's her name should have played Bev.
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams, because she looks just like that girl.
Okay.
But I remember seeing the clip of Bev in the revisiting her old apartment and that lady, and I was like, "Oh, this looks fucking great." And it was a decent scene, but
It falls into one of those movies where it's like, all right, if it was on TV or something, I'd probably watch a scene of it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like it's just not there. It's like under a 6 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
And I want to like it. And the only other movie I can think of that really falls into that category recently is the Jared Leto Suicide Squad. Where it's like, I do believe that down in the rubble, there is a good movie there. And that's how I feel about the It's.
The
Where
guys-
it's like, if you took all this shit out of here, I know you shot more.
Yeah.
I know you had 4 hours worth of film.
Yeah.
And you trimmed it down and it was like,
What
here
did you
go.
think of the James Gunn version of Suicide Squad?
Fun. Well, everything a
fun.
popcorn movie
Yeah.
should be.
They got rid of the original editors and they brought in these two brothers who their whole career have edited trailers.
Okay.
So the first Suicide Squad literally looks like a bunch of different trailers put together. Like there was no cohesiveness to it. It was
Which
just
is
fucking all
ironic
over the
because-
place.
And it's crazy because that movie came out in like 2016.
Don't quote me on that. I'm almost positive that was the case, but
Okay.
whatever.
The trailer for the Jared Leto Suicide Squad, when it came out, it was set to Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was very fast paced. And it was like, oh, Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia. Whoever edited that trailer,
Probably the same
my
guys
God,
editing the movie.
my God,
Yeah.
it pulled me so hard where I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's so
was
much
just-
in here I want to see, and it looks
was-
fun. And then I got it, and it was like,
And Jared Leto's barely in it, and he's the worst Joker of all time. Only because they cut probably most of his great scenes.
The funny
But-
thing is, I look up clips on that too of YouTube, and at the end, when he's in the plane and he's firing the AK out the
Yeah.
back of it and the helicopter, it's so fun.
Yeah.
I want to see more of
Yeah.
that so bad. And what really pissed me off is they came out and they were like, oh, here's a photo for like the Joker's 40th anniversary or whatever it was, 50th anniversary or something. And it was Jared Leto with the head tattoos.
Yeah.
And David Ayer was like, that's not in the movie.
Nah.
Then the movie came out and he had them. He had all the tattoos, but it was just like, oh my goodness. The first scene we see of him is with Common in a club. And it's just fucking bad.
Yeah.
However, Zack Snyder's Justice League, his
Let's get a
scene
clip.
at the end is nice. When they pulled him back
I haven't
in.
seen Justice League.
The director's cut?
I haven't seen any of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
I
you
wasn't.
did.
I had no.
Right on.
I had no
Yeah.
desire to see that. Honestly,
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's on HBO. I can watch it whenever I want, but maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll see what it is. But I just heard such terrible things about it. I was like,
The original, the director's cut of Justice League is
much better.
probably one of the best superhero movies I've seen.
Really
I love it.
interesting.
There's some bad shit in there where it's just like,
I am getting tired of the Marvel universe.
Oh, God. Me too.
I had a lot of fun with Marvel universe though, and I thought the way that
That could be the next episode.
that could be the next episode. Yeah, let's wrap this up. So
Okay.
with all that being said, we hope you enjoyed our very first podcast. What are we going to call it? Popcast?
I call, because it's pop films, I said pop pods.
Pop pods.
Pop up pods or something.
Pop pods.
You know.
Pop pods. Say that 5 times fast.
Pods.
If we missed any remakes that you enjoyed or you hated that we didn't talk about, comment them down below. We'll get to them at some point. We'd love to hear your opinions on the movies we discussed today. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you hate everything we said? Do you love everything we said? Comment down below.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to grab that real quick, if you have time, Tubi TV, type in Dead County. We're on there. It's free with ads. If you hate it, you could shut it off at any point. Just give it a try. It might be something up your alley. I will say we have to get a little bit into like detail with this. This was our first feature film. We shot it 3 years ago on a very, very small budget with all first-time actors. Everett is one of the main characters in it. I think you killed your role.
Thank you.
So go into it with that mindset of a very independent film that a bunch of kids made. Because we were kids 3 years ago. No, we weren't.
I would just say, accept the fact that like we don't have the budget, we work full time, but understand the passion.
Yes.
Like it's there.
Yes.
What I would do to quit my job and wake up at 4 a.m. to go to a set.
Yes.
And just be there getting whipped and dragged over the coals for 12 hours. That's it. That's all I want.
I remember working on the movie and being like, I am so stressed out right now, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Because it's just being stressed out and something that you love doing. It's a good stress.
It was like
if there's a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. On that note, we'll end it here. Hopefully one day we work on the HBO miniseries.
That'd be cool.
10 episodes we'd like to do.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Sweet.
HBO. Hit us up. All right. Later.
My butt hurts.
Yeah, mine too. This fucking couch sucks. Oh, this broke. No, it didn't.
Oh my god.
Shut up. Are you kidding?
No, it's recording.
Oh.
But let's end it here.